All right, so we're gonna just do a very quick example of how do you begin to use Illustrator and Photoshop at the same time. So this is a Illustrator file, a section through a building. All right, and it has a few. You can see all the layers. Majority of them are locked. We just like quickly go through them. You can start to see how this section is made. You can also see that some of these images are actually trimmed to the correct size that are essentially like placed in here. But some of these images are linked images, which are these images. There's this person standing here in the tree. Obviously, it has this very strange gray background. But because these images are linked, I can say, for example, I can open up this file in Photoshop. I can turn off this layer. And this layer, again, once I turn it off, there is no background, right? You can see that checkered. I can save it. And if I go back into Illustrator, because that file was linked into Illustrator, it's giving me a warning. It's saying something's been changed with that other file. Do I want to update this drawing? And I click yes. And now, because it's an actual Photoshop file and it has an alpha channel, I don't see any of the background. So I actually start to use Photoshop and Illustrator together to start to make these composites. I can do the same thing with the tree. I can open that up in Photoshop, turn that layer off, save it, go back into Illustrator, and again it's asking me something has changed with this file. Do I want to update it? I click yes. And now I don't have that strange background that I've had before. So the way to get a file, a linked file into Photoshop. So we'll place this person back another in here. I can go to File, Place. Make sure I'm on a layer that's not locked. File, Place. I'm going to look for that that person. So it's this file is kind of hidden in here. Illustrator, Photoshop. There you go. Here's this person. So when you place an image, it gives you the option whether to link it or whether not to link it. And it's this little check mark right here. So if it's not linked, I can press place, and what it does is it puts that image in my Illustrator file. But if I link it, this image technically is not in my Illustrator file. It's just allowing me to look at it in my Illustrator file. So the one thing I need to keep in mind is all my linked images, I always want to keep them together. So essentially what might happen is I can take this, I can link this person into this file, and by accident I can take just the Illustrator file, put it on a flash drive, open it up on somebody else's computer, and these linked images will not show up because technically they're not in this Illustrator file. So there's just the one thing to be aware of. So again, it gives you the option to link or not to link. You can just place it. And you also know that a file is linked or not linked by the X. If the image has an X on it, that means it's a linked file. If it does not, you can click embed. And if it does not, if it just looks without the X, that means that this file is now embedded into Illustrator. So now this file is technically in Illustrator. But what that means is, because this file is no longer linked, I cannot open it in Photoshop, make adjustments to it, and have this file update. So again, that's the difference between linking it and embedding it.